All right, here we are. Here we are.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
The gang's all here.
Yeah, we all in.
We all here.
Live and living color.
All right. All right. I guess you see all of our pictures up there. So, yeah. You know, let's do.
All right.
I'm Jay.
Debbie.
Hey, Jay.
I'm Rick.
Hey, Miss Debbie.
Hey,
Rick.
Miss Mimi.
Hey, Ricky.
Ricky Rick.
Ricky Fox in the house.
The gang's all here.
Gang's all here.
Lily's here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All
Debbie's
right.
here.
We got a Cloverleaf crew.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That sounds a little awkward.
So what we talking about today, Jay?
All right. I'll stick to the subject. Okay. All right. Topic of the day is that's listed as can we say that this is the spice of our life? But let's think about something. What about variety? The varieties of the spice of our life. Is that
Variety is the spice of life.
That's what they
variety
say. That's
is
what they
the
say.
spice
Yeah.
of our life.
A lot of people say that. No, not everybody.
Variety
down
is
with
the spice.
I mean, you look at like this. So like you go out to eat on a regular basis. Say you go to an Italian restaurant, but do you always go to an Italian restaurant to eat? Do you just eat Italian?
Right.
Most people gonna say no.
Right.
Sometimes you're gonna want a little Mexican food. Sometimes you're gonna want a little Greek. How about a little Indian or American? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Variety makes life interesting. Interesting. Nobody wants to just nibble on the same exact thing time and time again.
Okay. So now that you made a good point. That's food.
Well,
But what
I mean,
about-
it could be anything. Variety, you can apply that to anything.
Yeah, that's what's interesting.
Yes, that's what makes it
That's
an
what's interesting.
topic.
Okay.
Variety, the spice of life. You take it and apply it to your life, individuals. I'm saying, not you specifically, but anybody. Any way that you want to. You know, it's open for interpretation. What you think, Rick?
Well,
Variety is the spice of life.
I think variety is something that we may at times elude ourselves in the fact that our mind want one thing, but the heart desires another. So what may be the spice of life for my mind may not be enriching for the heart. Love, for instance, I'm going to stick on love because that's a good topic. Is I spice up my mind what I think my relationship is going to be with her. But then it's what my heart really desires and needs. Maybe she be too much to me. Maybe, I can't satisfy her as what the spice of what I think I'm going to get from her that I'm going to be able to contribute to her, the spice of life. The spice of life, if I think about age now, everything is built around what? The flesh. What you can touch, what you can feel. So I think the ride to life is real evident today because we don't have any substance anymore today. It's all about what feels good, what looks good. That's variety. What feels good, what looks good, and what is good. And
Like a commitment. Right?
the commitment, yeah. And a lot of times the variety is metaphor of what we perceive we want, but we're really not ready for it. I took y'all something like that.
Yeah.
All right, anyway.
You ain't take me nowhere.
Yeah.
That I'm already.
Okay, baby. That's it. But a metaphor, a metaphor is something that really doesn't exist. Metaphorically, does it apply to my life? No, because it's a It's a myth. It's something that I conjured up in my mind. Guy won. And they can see that.
No, they can see that. But
Right.
Couldn't see.
They can see it, Jay. Would you tell them, get off me, Jay? They just see,
Wow.
see, a metaphor. Is a metaphor real?
Can be. Maybe it's real for some and not real for all. I mean, in life, no matter what it is that we're discussing, nothing in life is a one-size-fits-all.
That's
Not
right.
when we're talking about religious beliefs or denominations in terms of religion, jobs, or what makes you happy. Anything. There is no one-size-fits-all. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
You know.
So, Miss Mimi, I mean, that was a good point. There's, one size. There's no one size fit all, and just thinking about this topic is variety, or so to speak, the spice of life. And you made a good comment as to when the show opened up about the different foods, because we get like that sometimes where we have a taste for this, a taste for that, and I
We get
think
cravings.
variety is okay. In that juncture, but it's some things where variety could be a spice for me, or and in some things I choose not. Right.
Probably talking about relationships. Huh?
Yes.
Well, this is a relationship
yes.
show.
Yeah,
Let's
yes,
why not
yes.
necessarily talk about that.
Right. So, in my relationship, now that depends. Now, are we monogamous? Are we gonna be committed? Are we gonna, that type of thing? But if you just doing your thing and I'm doing mine, and you doing it with somebody else and I'm doing it, because that's not what I choose to do. That's not. So variety for me in that aspect is not gonna work. It's not gonna work. But I can see it in some other things.
Yeah, I mean, you got different kind of lifestyles out
Yeah.
there. You've got those that are monogamous, married. Of course, you have those that are married. They're not necessarily monogamous. You have swinger couples. Actually, I'm writing about one of those in my book.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
a married swinger couple, whatever.
Okay.
Where the variety makes the success of life and the marriage. Of course, there are rules to all that lifestyle. So.
I mean, now that's another subject we probably would need to touch
What
upon.
you mean?
But as far that marriage, being in a marriage and swinging and having,
It's all about
having.
variety.
I mean, I know that's the people. That's it depends on. But I mean, you have variety in your marriage. So my mindset is, why go outside the marriage?
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm just asking a question.
Right, and
I'm
that
just
takes me to
asking.
this thing I saw on Facebook, a Facebook post, okay? And it was real funny when I saw it. It's probably not going to sound funny when I describe it to you guys, but here it was. I log on to Facebook, and there's this female. She says, because she's married, she said, so he said wants to see other people. We're talking about her husband. And below that were 12 pictures of her with different wigs and hairstyles and colors and different poses. She looked like 12 different people. Meaning, you want to see somebody different tomorrow? I can make that happen.
Absolutely.
And still be with the realm of our marriage.
Absolutely.
Which I thought
Nothing
was
wrong
funny.
with it. Nothing wrong with
There's
it.
all kind of ways.
It's all kind
to
of
spice
ways.
up life with variety.
Absolutely.
It doesn't necessarily mean like stepping out in a relationship, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just working towards creating the illusion of
Absolutely.
something different.
Yes.
And, like role play or just whatever.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Jay, what you got to add? I can see his itching to say something with the look on your face.
So, if I was to have a wife and she said, you know what, I always fantasized about being all over a bald-headed man. I mean, okay, so I'm gonna come back and go, bam, baby, I done shaved it all off. Let's make this happen. Like, what happened to your hair? You don't look right bald hard-headed. Now, where am I gonna be right now? I tried to make this happen.
Okay, and see now, I can so see that scenario. Really, I can. That's not nothing that's like way out left.
Yeah.
I don't see that scenario. Is any woman in the right mind in that scenario, and you go out and shave your head off, like surprise them, even if they thought you looked like
Right.
Boo Boo the Fool,
Yeah.
they ain't gonna say it.
If that's your wife.
If
Yeah.
that's your wife,
Yeah.
if that's
Yes.
your husband,
Right.
they ain't gonna say it. Cause
Yeah.
sometimes you're supposed to say everything that comes in your
Yeah.
mind. Okay. You know, you said to him that that's what
Right.
you like.
Right.
You
Right.
go out and do this to make you happy.
Right.
So that's the
Yeah.
first thought that should come to your
Yes.
mind when you see him walking.
Yes.
Man, he did what I said. He took it.
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. It ain't working for him.
Right.
I'm gonna let him know that.
Right.
And we're gonna go ahead and go
Yes,
with it.
absolutely.
That's how that's supposed to go down.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
That's how
That's
supposed to go
right.
down.
Okay.
That's right. That's right. I agree.
Okay. All right.
What else you got?
What else? Here's some things I have. I'm curious about this spice thing because you know the variety, and
Right.
then it's mentioned about the spice. So here's some things I'd like to bring up in this conversation. Okay. You know, we say stuff. You know, stuff is like it's as sweet as sugar and spice. You know, so basically, you know, if the variety it's not, you know, it's a good thing, whatever. It might be as nice as sweet as spice. So then, but here, okay, the spice thing. What would probably the spice thing be? Is it a thing, an act, a person, a pet, an event, a movement, position, a possession? What is spice?
Well, look at it like this.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna try and address this a little bit differently than I already. Let's just say you really like chicken.
Chicken.
You just really love chicken. You want to eat chicken every day because you
Everything
monogamous
tastes like chicken.
with chicken. Okay, that don't necessarily mean you have to cook it and season it the same every time. Monday you might want to put a little Cajun on it. Tuesday might be a little Caribbean jerk. Those are spices to that chicken. That a little bit, but keep eating chicken.
Oh, okay.
No. You're not feeling that?
No, okay, all right. All right, just keep you eating chicken.
I mean, it's,
So rotisserie chicken.
you ever heard the expression, it's not what you do,
Kung
it's
fu
how you do
chicken.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can have the spices of life and the variety without necessarily talking about relationships going outside of the realm of a monogamous or married relationship. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. All right.
Right.
Okay, Miss Davis.
That, yeah. So that's what I was thinking along that line too, Mimi, is that extra added you put in it to make it. Yeah,
Because marriage
you know what that thing is. You know that extra that Yes.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is just my opinion. I don't have anything to do with myself, but it's just my opinion that people can get bored with the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we're not necessarily talking about monogamy versus an open relationship. We're just talking about the same thing. And when you get up in the morning and get dressed, you don't wear the same thing every day. It's the same body, but you dress it up a different way. So you present yourself to your coworkers or wherever you go on your daily basis, a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So why not present yourself a little bit differently on a regular basis to your mate?
Right.
It gives that variety and that spice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a mental thing.
Yeah.
So
it is.
when you with your mate or whatever, and they're seeing something a little bit different,
Right.
don't you think mentally speaking that kind of entices them on a certain different level?
Right. And Mimi, let me just say, if anybody remember the Jamie Foxx show? Remember
Yes.
Jamie Foxx? Remember the episode where him and his fancy got the idea to be this island princess, you know, which was her alter ego for Jamie. He was like, you know, he needed something more, you know, so she created this alter ego, you know, for him and started doing, you know, this alter ego. And so he got to the point to where he loved that, you know. And so what I'm saying is that a lot of times in our relationship, you have to be attentive to you.
Right. 'cause
Be
it's
attentive
mental.
to you. I mean, because they'll let you know. You know,
Sure.
you watching the TV commercial and the woman come on with them 7-inch heels or whatever. He looking like, wow, you know, baby, I think you'll look good and something like those. You know, don't just hear it or I ain't putting them up. Listen. You know what I'm saying? Listen. I ain't saying you got, because if you're not built to walk around in them, you're not built to walk around in them, but you can put them on.
That's right. You ain't got to walk too
Okay.
They got to walk too far.
Right.
From the shoe rack to the bed.
Okay.
That's a short distance.
Right. Absolutely. Rick.
See your left
Rick.
on your ear.
Rick, I know. Yeah, you like, yeah, go ahead, damn, do tell.
That's good.
Yeah.
But you know what it is?
yeah.
It's that, you know, like intimacy, because that's where you were going with
Right.
this. Intimacy between a man and a woman, it's a mental thing.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Most men are visual creatures. Some women are. I'm a visual person. And so they need, you know, it's important to have visual stimuli in any relationship, you know, on the man's part or the woman's part or whatever. So yes, dressing up with them heels that they saw somebody on TV wearing, or, you know, a specific kind of hat she might have saw, you know, somebody on TV. He looks sexy in that hat. My man might look good in it.
Absolutely.
You know, all that is called work.
Yeah.
You know, putting in effort or whatever to, you know, keep it interesting.
And that's the spice.
And with relationships, I mean, not just marriage, but just with
Yeah.
relationships, you know, that's fundamental. And this can be sometimes hard and challenging to keep it interesting. And so variety, again, I'm going to say, don't necessarily mean you got to go outside marriage to get it.
Right.
You know, the key is to do it and keep it inside the relationship.
Absolutely.
And add that spice.
But you know, I think one of the things that we miss, and you know, a lot of time as women, I'm not saying all women, I'm just saying some, you know, women have that closed mind. Oh, I couldn't do that. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I won't do that. But then these are the same ones, and I'm not saying it's always, I'm just saying, and then you wonder why your man ain't at home.
Right.
Why your man is with your neighbor or whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do what you need to do. I mean, and that's in any aspect, whether it's a marriage, a relationship. Do what you need to do. If you say that's your man, your husband, and you want him to be committed and dedicated to you, then do what you need to do. Because there are going to be them times, Mimi, like you said, to where it's going to become mundane. You know, he comes home, you come home, hey baby, how you doing? I love you. Dinner's ready. You know, y'all have y'all time together whenever that is, despite the kids and everything else. It's you gotta keep it. You gotta keep it.
You gotta anticipate.
You gotta keep
Don't
it.
expect it.
Yeah.
You gotta keep it interesting, challenging,
Yeah.
be on your toes.
Absolutely.
Never really get comfortable. When you get comfortable,
So true.
that's not a good thing
So
in a
true.
relationship.
So true.
Yeah.
I tell you, one of the things. I'm sorry.
No, you
Go ahead.
go. No.
So, when I was way back in the day, a young person married in my 20s, I never said no to my husband. I was raised that way, okay?
Okay.
You know, you just never say no to your husband. Of course, he didn't ask much because he was in our 20s.
Right,
You know,
right.
nothing to ask. But that was just my mentality. Never say no. You know, it's my job to keep him happy and interesting and please him, blah, blah, blah. And that goes both ways, back and forth. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you got to have that mindset to do whatever you need to do to keep it interesting.
Right.
And what have you. What do you think about that, Jack?
Well, I'm like this. When it comes down, I'm trying to think. I remember Martin Lawrence did this. I remember Kevin Hart acted this role, this kind of position out. And a couple of other actors in some various different movies. But it's kind of like this. What they say, it really goes beyond whatever it took to get them. That you need to keep it up, but it's actually whatever it took to get them. You have to actually go beyond,
Yeah.
not just keep it up, because
Surprise.
Whatever it took to get them, they say keep it up, but that can be consistent, which may become boring, as you were saying,
right.
which may become boring because it gets to where we done did that. I done see. I'm so used to this, I can almost quote the words or and say what actions you're gonna do because I'm. But the element of surprise and like Martin Lawrence was just saying in this show, what was the comedy show that him and the little sitcom that he had? It was the Martin Lawrence show.
Yeah,
Martin. Called Martin. Yeah. What was the girl's name? I can't even. Boy,
Gina?
Yeah. She was saying, you just getting boy. You like, what you want me to be? What you want me to be? I'll be the fireman. I'll be the policeman.
Right.
I'll be the cook. I might burn it up, but I'll be what you want me to be. You want me to be the paper boy? I'll be whatever you want me to be. So I'm just like whatever it takes, because
whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes. And that should be even vice versa for women. And we have some people. It's called going out of your character. That's what it's really called.
Stepping out your comfort zone.
Comfort zone, character, position. We have some folk that are like have this like the educated kind of educated stifled. I'm just saying.
Stuffy.
Stuffy. I'm just saying. Just saying. Even though your mate might have been drawn to that from the beginning, but we know that society has an influence on people, especially when you're watching these movies and these soap operas and all that. It messes with people's imagination. So in that, this is just a fact of life. Why is it that fads, the fads and the things that excite us now, in the past, are not as exciting now? Why do the styles of clothes change? Because it's all due to the penetration of what TV media has brought to our mind, and it has molded us to move into creative ideas. Creative ideas also molds us into ideas in our relationship. So we don't really stay consistent in ideas. We may stay consistent in our bond and our commitment, but our ideas may change. And with that, sometimes we need to actually recognize that some things need to move along with it. Because everybody's not the same. So you do need to recognize your partner.
Right.
Everybody's not the same. And to expect that someone will be just like you, maybe you don't want to change, but to expect someone else to be just like you because you don't, or have the same exact decision that you have, might be a little bit what's called selfish, might be a little bit what might be called a little bit of ignorance and a little bit of arrogance.
If we different,
to the position of the other person, because that's one thing we tend to many times feel that no one is exactly like you, and they're not going to have the exact view. I say keyword exact view and the exact outlook that you may have.
So when is it to the point where the differences are too different, where it's problematic?
That's good.
Because you always hear this phrase. I've been hearing since I was a kid. Opposites attract. Okay, Gotta be different to come together. But at some point in times, and sometimes
You know
your
that.
differences are too vast where you can't come together. So I mean, you do want some similarities. You don't want the two people to be on complete opposite ends of the spectrum. They've got to share some realm of similarities for them to build upon. Right?
I think that should, Miss Marcy, I think that should be found out in the beginning. Miss Mimi, I think that is found out. It should be found out in the beginning of the relationship. When you're getting to know each other. Those things, like you said, that's when the differences.
Right.
I mean, even if if I say something and you Rick, you say, "Oh no, Debbie, I don't believe that," whatever. Then that's a difference. And then why you take notice, you pay attention to those things. I mean, and then them things that really make you clash. That if you get into the relationship, then it's gonna just be bigger. It's just gonna be on a grander scale.
I've listened to y'all collaborate on the spice of life, and is it important? How important is it? And I've drawn to a conclusion as I listen to you all that I think that phrase and saying the spice of life, what does it seed in me? And say, if I use myself as an example of a relationship, I think it gets you in trouble. And I think that it's again, I'm going to bring this word metaphor into it, because it's a metaphor that man tells us that opposite attract. When everything about the religious or faith relationship with God, the word says we should be evenly.
Right.
That means we should be at the same, perhaps, learning level, understanding of life, the world, parenthood, or just who we are. And if we don't know that, and if we hadn't come to that agreement and understanding when we become in a relationship, then that's when we have to use symptomatic things that spicing up our life, trying to do something to enhance what we don't already understand. Why should I have to spice up my life in order for someone to love me? They should be able to love me for who I am.
But it's not about love.
Well, we'll just say, why should I have to spice up who I am or pretend I'm something for my friend that I hang out with? So if I don't drink, should I spice it up and drink because he drinks?
No.
If I don't go out, should I go out because he likes to go out? Why can't he just say, okay, Ricky don't drink, he don't go out? Then when I hang out with Ricky, I know I got to be at a different level of understanding because he's a different kind of friend. So he won't influence me. I don't have to spice up who I am to be his friend. He accepts me who I am, and we have that friendship. So what I'm saying is, when we look at spicing up something, we're creating something that we're not for someone else or for another reason other than what we're in reason in our mind to be. So spicing up my life could cause my life to become tormented or painful.
May not be true.
It may not be true, because now I got to keep up this act, because spicing up something is the whole term of spicing up something is to take something that is good, that my wife has been bringing to the table, and I saw, honey, that's good. And sit at the dinner table, I'm just talking, I go, you know what, that would be good if it was spiced up just a little more. Just talking. So then the next time we eating, I dip into it and I go, whoa, what's that? Well, honey, you told me to spice it up. Oh, I didn't mean that literally. I mean, it was good the way it was. But honey, I thought you wanted me to spice it up. Now here comes a disagreement based on me using spice it up. When I really don't want it to spice it up, I just use the term in the sentence, well, that would be good if you spice it up a little bit. I'm probably using the term and say, honey, that's still good. So if you spice up something, that means you have to change something that regularly should never be changed. See, so if we, I'm Ricky.
Oh, I totally get what you're saying.
If I changed who I was to you, you may not like me anymore. Because then I'm gonna do it because I think that's what you want. I think that's what you need for me to be your friend. But you like me for just the way I am. So I don't have to add any spice to myself. I was reading a little bit while y'all was talking about metaphor, and I use metaphor in the reference context of the spicing. And I read two things, and it says a man is the phrase that the man is like a lion. It makes that man look more virile and masculine and strong, because you done connected the word lion to the man, because we know the lion is vicious and he's ferocious, but the man may be a wimp. But once I attach that to that, he may not be worthy of fighting and doing anything. But once I put the word lion to the man, then that somebody gonna say, I want that man. Ricky said he's like a lion, but you get him, he's just a little pussycat. Well, why did he say he was like a lion? He's just a little pussycat, a house cat. He's not a lion. See, the metaphor of the spice that I spiced him up for could lead this woman to talk to this man based on what I said he was. And he's not.
Yeah, Rick, you took that to another level. I wasn't even born.
Because I think the whole variety of spice of life thing, as we've been talking
You took
about,
that to somewhere.
has been within the confines of a relationship, multiple relationships, where it's just a monogamous relationship, where it's a marriage or whatever type of relationship, not necessarily what you just said from one man to another man about how to be to.
Well, I wanted to, because this is a relationship. I wanted the viewers to understand that if you're looking at spice of life as female to female or man to man in a friendship, men are heterosexual. They always button heads. They always trying to prove who's better, who's faster, who's quicker. And that's just a form of, you kind of sometimes stepping out of who you are just for a friendship. It doesn't have to be sexual or relation to man and woman. It could be in a relationship with a man too.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Okay. If you were married or in a monogamous relationship with a female, and she had a hairstyle and she always wore it, and then she changed it, wore it a new way for a couple months, and she changed it again, would that be okay with you? I mean, how do you see that a person slightly altering their appearance because they want to continue to look, attractive and good? You know what I'm saying? Because what you just said, I took that one way. Okay, you okay with this person, your spouse or whatever, being 100% the same inside and out from day one to the very end.
That's what you don't have to fake. You don't have to do anything different. That's just you.
That's fine. I mean that's cool in a committed married relationship. Yeah, but I mean, women add spice all the time. They wear eyeshadow, they wear lipstick, they change their clothes, they gain weight, they lose weight, they do different things. Every day they present themselves differently. You may not necessarily see the obvious difference, but there's a subtle difference every day. How you put your hair, or how you do your makeup, or the shade of lipstick you wear. That's still a variety. So it's still different from the day before. So what you were just describing says, okay, this. There's no one person that is 100%
but I answer
the same way if they went to the end.
If I was in a relationship and I met a woman, and when I met her, man, she had everything going. Her hair was fixed, and she was all made up good, and she looked nice. And my grandmother always said, be careful who you take home, because you never know what you're getting until the next morning when the woman come out of the makeup. So all them loves and smoochy stuff you did that night, when you wake up, you may go, ah! You may not be one. Yeah, because that's spicy. She was spiced up to the point that last night.
It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be that.
But then that next morning, I wake up, ah! What did you take off? Your hair was long last night. Your fingernails was long. What happened? You didn't have all them bumps on your face. What I'm saying is that if you can go too far with spicing. You
can.
If I'd rather a woman and if her hair can't grow,
right,
and it's nappy and it just won't grow, I'd rather her cut it off to a nice, beautiful fro, and build the essence of her face around that, than to go put on something that's not her naturally, because now I can receive her at who she is. I can see her inner beauty, but somehow she thinks that if she takes it, make her hair longer or curlier, that's going to excite me or turn me on. If that's what's going to turn me on, then I go find a woman that's got curly natural long hair. So each day when I wake up, I see that and I have that. I'm saying sometimes you can over-accessorize, over-spice up to the point to where it's not really you. It's not really you. It's like it's spicing up. It's not really you.
Yeah, and so here's my take on that one. Even if you go with the natural, okay, the woman that just with the whole natural hair, whatever, it could be natural and in one style one day, but still be natural and look totally different the next. So, I mean,
well, I'm trying to be. I got to be sensitive in this area because I don't want to say the wrong thing. But
what do you mean? What's the wrong thing?
I got to be.
Yeah.
What's the wrong thing?
So, I mean,
You understand what he's saying?
no, I can't say.
I think I understand a little bit about what Ricky Rick's talking about. And it's kind of I guess he'll correct me if he needs to, but it would be kind of like that okay, do you really love me for who I am?
That's
Are
right,
you
man.
really into? Okay,
Yeah.
if you can make love to me for, in other words, I was joking about the bald-headed thing, going bald-headed because, the woman said, I just had this fantasy about
you being bald.
Bald-headed, and so I go and do that for her to make this fantasy come alive. All right, I think, that might be a little bit too far. Might be a little bit too far. Yeah, it might be impressive. But then, when you really sit down and rationalize it, really think about it. Okay, I just shaved my head to present this fantasy. Now, what is really happening in the fantasy? Pay attention to this. Okay, what's really happening in the fantasy? Is she really? And we go to bed.
Right.
We go to bed. Is she really? You remember what fantasies are? Okay.
But we ain't talking about fantasy.
We're talking about spicing. That's a part of
the spice. That's part of this act of spice.
Yeah.
The variety.
I think we.
Excuse me. Let me just comment before we go too much further on.
Okay.
Based on what you said and what you first commented on, because you was talking about the whole love angle, right?
And I'm not talking
you
about
married
love at
person,
all.
you love her. You married person, you love them for what's on the inside.
Right.
The outside supposed to be irrelevant. Okay? Am I right or wrong?
Right.
So no matter to the outside, gain weight, lose weight, red hair, black hair, orange hair, you supposed to love them irregardless. Sometimes people do that subtle changes to their outer being, to spice things up. Might be for themselves. Might just be because of how they want to be seen or to make themselves feel good. So what I'm saying is, based on what you said about changing for a person, it ain't about that. It shouldn't matter if she come to bed with a nappy head one day and it's orange long and pressed with waves the next day. You love her for her. She might change the way she look on the outside, but she's not changing the inside.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay? So that's my response to what you were saying. We're not talking about changing the inside because that's what you married.
Right.
You married what's in here. You ain't married what's on the outside.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong? Come on, talk to me.
Well,
am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? No, I'm mess with you. Am I right or wrong? Because you always want to get biblical and spiritual. Let me tell you something. You're supposed to love the core, not the outer package.
Well, seeing that when we love in this world, viewers, and we actually are in the viewing of flesh more than we are spiritual, because we sometimes don't see spiritual more than we see flesh, because I can touch you and to be spiritual, I have to be in a spiritual place with you. So what you change on the outside does affect what I think and feel about you, even though if our love was on the inside.
It shouldn't.
It's just like if I go home tonight before I leave, and I'm going to use Jay excerpt, If I go in the bathroom and shave my hair bald, and I walk into my house when I get home, upstairs to my bedroom and go, honey, I'm home. She goes, oh, what the world did you do? Oh, honey, I thought this would be, you know,
She ain't feeling it, but it ain't gonna change
but she
nothing.
gonna say, well, what, you know, I don't know if I like that. I'm gonna get into that. Whatever. No,
But if she love you, it doesn't matter. For the simple fact, look at it like this. What if something?
Now, y'all done made me think
what if
about
something
something here.
on the outside that has nothing to do with the two of you changes her appearance? She gets hit by a car, and now she's in a wheelchair. Okay, you supposed to still love her. She can't walk around in the house in shoes, or she look differently.
I thought
You
that,
still supposed to love her.
a true story, and then I'll let you speak. My
Okay.
first cousin was married to a beautiful woman, light skinned, yellow, pretty hair, just beautiful. They had 2 beautiful kids. And viewers, I hope you hear me, because I really judged my first harshly until I prayed and God showed me some things. He showed me that we're human at the end of the day. She had got breast cancer, right? So she lost one breast. He started acting a little funny. Family was talking. Carl ain't acting the same. Something's wrong. Then she lost double. He quit going home. All of a sudden, they just wasn't together. Well, the family was going, what's going on? That's his wife. He's supposed to love her. And I was like, man, how could he do that, man? That's a lovable woman. And, you know, and he married her for better, for worse. And the more I talked about it, and I prayed about God, and God started showing me. He said, you know what? You're trying to look at this at the spiritual aspect of what I've given you. But everybody is not spiritual. Now, you got to understand that when he married this woman, she had those. Now all of a sudden he don't. He's got to look at the scars. He's got to look at the fact that they're not there. Now, who are you to judge if he should stay with her, love her, or not? What? You're not even. Now listen to me. You're not even looking at where he is. You're just looking at her. There's 2 people in this. So then I spoke with him later on and I said, Carl, why did you make that decision to leave your wife because of that? He says, I don't know. I just could not deal with it. Do I still love my wife? Yes. Did I mistreat her after I divorced and we left? No.
He ain't love her, no.
But you understand. See, we can easily say what we'll do until it happens to us. We can easily say that.
Yeah, but if you really love a person and take those vows to heart,
but the spice of getting those fake breasts and being presentable when you got them in is still not what's actually going on. So are we really in love with what's on the inside? A lot of us don't even know. A lot of us don't even know what's inside of us. Myself, I don't even know what's inside of me. There's a lot of things, you know. So good.
I was just gonna say this, you know, because we took this thing, you know, on the whole new. I mean, but yeah, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. Spice versus you talking about shaving the hair, shaving your hair, Jay, which that's a major. That's exactly.
Okay. That's over the top.
Yes.
Not permanent, but that's a little drastic.
Right. It is, and that's the point I'm making. When you start doing stuff like, and that's when it becomes a problem.
Right.
You know, like and on the other side of that thing, like for a woman, you know, your man or your husband is saying, you know, baby, you know,
and they don't do that. That's too far.
You know, you don't have enough. Go get you some more. You know, and then you start doing that. And then once you see that, you need someone, you need something to sit on. Go get you one. You know, but see, that's why when it get like that. When it start getting like that, that's when it's dangerous.
Right.
Spice is like an outfit. You know,
exactly.
That's not really about variety.
Right. That's not.
Dim it down the line.
That's about
a long wig on, you know, straight wig or whatever. You know,
what you just described, that's about taking a person, your mate, partner, whatever, and trying to change them into what you want them to be. That's not like variety, the spice of life. We talking about, you know, subtle accents, you know, that you might want to do to keep things interesting. Not way that.
Yeah.
But nothing is subtle.
Alter
Look at what Pearson went through.
Whole different ball.
Absolutely.
Look at what Pearson went through. Nothing is subtle.
Who's
the
that?
piercing
The
that they get.
piercings.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
we as human beings can't be subtle about spices. We always gonna go too far.
But you,
We are not always gonna go
I think
too
it
far.
depends on the person. It depends on the person. It really does. Now you got to know. You got to know what's in your level. You know
I mean,
what's
got
for you.
extremists
You
out
know.
there, but
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it depends on who you ask. It depends on who you talk to. Yeah, I'm off. You know, look. I'm
But
just
I
gonna
just
say
say it
this.
like this here.
Okay.
I'm a 51-year-old woman. I don't want to look at the same thing every day. Okay? There's a reason why I'm not married. I don't look at the same thing every day.
Oh,
And
really,
if I
Mimi?
do get married to a man, he gonna learn how to spice it up. Wear some thongs to bed sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes you wear boxers.
Okay, right.
Well, see,
You know,
that's not
some tight
permanent.
jeans.
Yeah.
Put on some tight
Spice.
jeans
That's
sometimes. As opposed to them business slacks you wear.
Yeah.
Change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I can go with that.
Yeah.
I can go with that.
I don't want to look at the same
Put a
thing
tube in
every
Yeah.
single
Right,
day.
right.
It's a mind thing. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I don't love you at your core.
Yeah.
It's about visual stimulation.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's it.
But doesn't that mess with the mind? Doesn't that trick the mind?
It's not about tricking the mind, okay? It's about visual stimulation, okay? That's it. And it has nothing to do with, in my opinion, it has nothing to do with how deep the love is. Because if you truly love a person, you love them at their core. Put blinders on. Walk
Right.
around like a blind person
Yeah,
one day
yeah.
in life for maybe a month or two and meet some people.
Right.
And then you get to listen to the sound
Yeah,
of their voice
yeah.
and hear what they're talking about, hear the beat of their heart and what really makes them tick, and then fall in love. You understand? Then you're loving a person at their core. Yeah. In the life today, people meet, and the first thing that attracts people is the visual, what
Yeah.
they see.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you can't build no relationship
No.
foundation on that.
No, you can't.
It's got to be
No,
what's
you
at the
can't.
core. And
Right.
hopefully, for the most part, what's at your core is pretty consistent. Not going to change every, 6 months or what have you.
Right.
So, dressing it up, I mean, that's just dressing it up. And it's
Yeah.
no more, no less than that.
Yeah. And I agree. You know me. I mean, I just agree 100% because I can be Deborah one night, delicious another night.
What you say? Give some back. Give some back.
Okay, I'm just saying, because I am who I am in my core.
Exactly.
So now, if you love me,
You
you
want
love
to keep
me.
it interesting and spicy, and that's all. And it's not changing you at your core or asking him or her to change.
I don't know.
their
Rick
core.
look like
Go
he
ahead,
might be
cover
getting
your
a
face,
headache.
Maybe you should have said this one out. I think maybe you should have said this one out.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a little bit much.
It's a little bit much. Okay.
Okay. Well, I
But it's okay. I'm up for
I said all I gotta say on
the
this.
conversations on it. Yeah. That's good.
I've just been sitting and absorbing, enjoying. I guess I'm kind of like a viewer more so on this show than anything else. But I've listened and I've heard about the woman and women do this. They go to different hairstyles. I want to wear it up high. I want to wear it low. I want to wear it freely. I want to, go natural. I don't want to go with nothing at all.
Sometimes, yeah.
One day, and the same thing, makeup. I mean, those are traits, the nominal traits of a female, and the natural nominal traits of a female. It is, for a male, it should be an expectancy that a female would
Yeah, I agree
move
with
throughout
that.
her
I
life
agree with that.
in a mode like that.
Spice.
Right.
In a mode like that. And I think what this topic comes down to is the differences between a male and a female when it comes to, quote, the variety
Right. Absolutely.
of spice, of life.
Right.
Because I really believe
y'all
that
can
it
do a
comes
lot of
down to
things
that,
to yourself
because
and
there is a mode that is attached to females that is different in mindset of most men. I'm not saying that it's improbable. Impossible. It's more towards improbable than impossible.
Yes.
For the two different species to come together in the same. I'm talking about percentage. I'm not talking about all men, and I'm not talking all women, because you have some women who kind of, like they say, what is it, that movie Think Like a Man?
Act like
think like a right.
Act like a woman, think like
act like a woman, think like a man. And who have the persona of thoughts and presentation like a man, where I ain't gonna get into too much makeup. That's not really necessary and all that. And you find a lot of men, because hey, they just go get a haircut.
That's it.
And that's it. Ain't too many variations in doing your hair. Because men don't wear makeup. Well, some. Yes, those that are actually classified as a heterosexual, full-blown male thinking human being. Okay. I had to make that good definition.
Yeah, but variety.
But we have that. There is that difference. Like they say, what women are from Mars. Was it Venus?
Right.
Yeah.
Venus and men are from Mars.
That. Yeah.
That's the reason why they say that, because there is such a difference in the thought patterns.
Right.
In the high percentage, not all. And so. The new Kevin Hart show that's out. Kevin Hart was. I'm going to use him. He was just making a difference. He's like, if it's women, women want to always ask these hypothetical questions, and so he was like, his wife was asked him, well, if we were on a ship and I fell off into the water and the shark bit off my arm and my leg, what would you do? And he was like, me? I'd get a camera and take a picture of it. Because I ain't gonna. He's like, I'm gonna go up against a man-eating shark. But she's like, okay, so what if I survive and I climb up on the boat? And he said, let me get this straight.
Right.
You climb up on the boat with one arm and one leg after the shark done bit the two off. He's like, and they're like, to tell you the truth, I'm gonna throw you back in there, because that's not what I meant. That's not what I came with. He's like, I'm gonna throw you back in there because that's just how I think, because I'm a man. He's like, I don't do hypotheticals. He's like, why you asking me this anyway? I don't do hypotheticals, because, and so there is a difference, and it's in how women and most women and most men think. And I'm not saying that men couldn't have variety, like you were saying, wear a thong or wear some boxers, or, I can see those kind of things, they might be like this other play, Mr. Right by David Talbot. And he had that play. There was this guy, he was a maintenance man, and he was always seen throughout the whole play in work clothes. And the woman, he was always trying to get the woman to notice him, but she never would notice him because she got so used to he just a maintenance man. He walked in with a suit, and it just blew her away. Yeah, he was still the same person, the same person, but it caught. So it's kind of like that. I understand what you were saying, maybe. I mean, it's kind of like that persona. For a male, it would be, variety of different kind of spice. It might be change of clothes. Maybe they'll do something, never cook in the kitchen, but they get in there and cook something.
Exactly. It could also, it doesn't have to be physical.
Right.
It could be your approach. You know, you could have your mate walk into your home and you're sitting in another room with a microphone and a camera, and you know, give them directions in a different voice, and I'm stripping down and doing all this. It's just how you go about it, changing things up.
That's like that's actually called variety of romance.
Role play.
A romance. You know how you romance a person, because I'll use another. I love that you use a movie.
I think it's just called game. You just gotta have game.
Yeah, game. You call it game. There's the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger when he played a spy, and he had this guy, popular radio host or TV show host or whatever he was, and he had this real sexy voice, and he was first under the suspicion. Jamie Curtis was his wife in this movie. I think it was called Secret Spies or something like True Lies. That's what it was called. And he thought his wife was cheating on him, and when he found out the truth, he said he was like, "I'm gonna get her back. I'm gonna get her good." Which she was kind of had this thing for this guy, but she wasn't really trying to go through with it. But she just was like, my husband ain't never here, because he was a secret agent, you know, and so he was leaving her home a lot alone. So he hired this guy and sent her a note to meet, to what she thought it was going to be the other guy, not her husband, to meet her at a hotel. She went there, and the guy was the guy that had pre-recorded a tape for him with this sexy talk. He's like, "Come on in." She came on in.
Yeah.
And y'all just coming back to you. And then he was like, "Take a seat and make yourself look sexy." And she started doing it. She's like, now take off your shoes, take it off slowly. I mean, you know, it was all pre-recorded. Yeah, he was giving her instructions.
Okay.
And then he was like, now move your body sexy. And she was really goofy. She was goofy.
Yeah.
He was like, not that sexy.
You don't remember that?
It's True Lies. The movie. Yeah, it's really good. And
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Right? And Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You saw it.
And so it then, after going through the whole tape, I mean, he was getting so turned on just seeing. He was like, I never knew my wife could do all that sexy stuff. I mean, he even dropped the tape player.
Right. Okay.
She was looking so sexy. You know, they had gotten so used to seeing each other every day that this was a whole for both of them.
Right.
You know, was a whole different change, and it was you know, they were still who they were. He was still the secret agent, you know, she was still the goofy wife trying to be sexy, but she made it happen, you know.
And it did impact their marriage.
Right. See, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So you gotta be
creative.
Open.
That's all we talk about.
That's it. I'm telling you, and let me just say this, you know, and I guess this is gonna be my last point. Yeah, we talk about relationships. We say, you know, relationships, you know, man and a woman and everything. But trust and believe me when I tell you, my utmost respect is for those that are married. I mean, because you have the ability to make. Oh my goodness, you know what I'm saying? As a married person, I mean, I was, you know,
have the ability to do what?
I mean, okay. What I'm saying is that when you're in a relationship, unless you are committed to each other, it's just a relationship. I'm not making light of it as being because you're committed to each other, but when you take that step, now I'm speaking for marriage. Now everybody ain't speaking for marriage. I'm just saying I am. But when you take that step to commit to each other and marry one another, then come on now, do it. I mean, you don't have to, unless you're just happy with your life the way it is. I'm saying there's always room to improve, is what I'm saying. It's always room to improve and to make it more what you want it to be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just to make it interesting.
Right.
That's it, and that's all.
Yeah.
And my final comment would be just that. I mean, I'm not in any way advocating an individual going outside and experiencing a variety of men or a variety of women or a variety of people, what side of the street you walk on and all that. I'm just saying that, we do things to keep it interesting. We do it in our daily lives without even thinking about it.
Right.
You change the tie every time you go to church. You don't wear the same tie. You might only have 2 suits, but you don't wear the same tie. No, I'm just saying. Some people just have like 1 or 2 suits, whatever. But I mean, you do things to keep it interesting, to change your look a little bit. I mean, we all do it all day, every day in our lives. And so, I think variety really is the spice of life. It likes to do the same thing, eat the same thing, watch different TV shows, all the time. Keep it interesting. My final thoughts. What you got?
I don't have anything.
Oh,
You don't have anything. You don't have no final thoughts or comments. Come on, Rick.
Way over. Okay, that's good. I appreciate it, Rick. Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
You're good.
I'm good.
All right.
Okay.
Come on, say. Come on, man. Give it that man. I'm good.
Do it, Rick.
I'm good.
Do it, Rick. Do it, Rick. Okay, Jay.
Oh, you got anything?
No, I'm good.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I said it.
That's it. All right.
I said
Good.
it.
All right. Well, I guess I say a few things. All right. There's been a lot of it came across the table. Okay, but I will say this in my final thought, because I was going to say it a little earlier, so I'm going to get it in before we hit the J Talks theme song. Everybody was saying something about the doing different things, accepting a person for who they are. Also, in the beginning when you meet somebody and if you decide to take them on and you marry them, and we talked about the fantasies and all that. Those that think that variety might have to do with certain fantasies that you would have to go through to fulfill for the other person. I would say there should be a question as to why should you have to, listen, I say this, folks, have to go through the extremes to fulfill the fantasies of the other person. I think one of you all said, the man will come say, your breast is not big enough, or they too big, or you need more bottom. Grow some fingernails, or I ain't into camel toes and all that. Well, I'm just saying that's what they say. Okay. Well, well, we're a real talk show.
Yes, we are, Jay.
Yeah, we are real.
And we are dogs. We're grown.
Yeah. So, real talk. That being said, the question would arise if you're fulfilling to something that is to heighten their fantasy. Are they actually really into you, or a fictitious person that they want you to fulfill? Because see, if you go make your breast bigger because they say that's what they want it to be, then are they in attached to your body, or you as the person, the character? You see, if that's such the mandate, or such the demand, or such the requirement, or you have to turn all these flips, to create the excitement, because they're requesting. There's a difference if they are requesting it rather than what you yourself have chosen to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you yourself have chosen to do that, then the person that's claiming they love you, if they love you, and I want to say it like that, if they love you, would receive that. And now I'm not going to say should, because should constitutes whether or not if they love you. Okay. So you go through these checks that you yourself decide. If you decide yourself, because that's what you feel about yourself, you need to make your breast bigger. To say it, because real true, if you that
Insecure?
insecure about yourself, there's 1,000 words could come across the table until you yourself have decided that you to be okay with yourself. 1,000 people could say you're okay. Your husband, your wife, your family, everybody can say you're okay, but until you come to the conclusion that you're okay, it's nothing will satisfy you until you do whatever you think needs to be done for you to say you're okay. Okay. That's just real talk. So if that's your choice to make you feel okay, then if based upon who you are as far as character, the person that claims they love you, if they're in love with your character, then everything on the outside should precede that. Should under precede that. I'm sorry, under precede that. Should come after that. And so if I go bald, hey, she might not like it, but really she won't have no choice but to adjust to it, because it's gonna take me a while to grow it back anyway. So if you love me, hey, you're just gonna have to be patient. Now, I mean, you could be honest, baby, you really don't look right, but okay, if that's what satisfy you, okay, I'm gonna do you. I'm gonna rub that head. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You wanna go be bald? All right. I'm gonna rub it for you. I'm gonna rub it good for you. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I'm not gonna pull away from you because you're bald. I'm not going. I'm gonna be the same person that I was to you with hair or without hair. Don't that kind of go with the better for worse thing?
Yes, it does.
So and like Rick was just saying, on a true story, the lady lost her breast.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. If she really loved her, and some people tend to say stuff like, I don't know why, I don't know, but the real truth, they really know. They didn't really love him. That's the real bottom line. They didn't really love him. If you really love the person, all right, the person, not the body, the person. If you really love the, because that can sometimes come as a test. All right,
that's it.
That can sometimes come. The variety thing can sometimes be a test. All right, just saying.
Right.
So
that's it.
All right. So varieties of life.
Spice.
A spice of life. All right. Can be a good thing. Then again, it can be a bad thing. It depends on the position of the people. Position of the people.
Right.
All right. And y'all good.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
See y'all later.